Good morning. It's 9:06 and you're watching Michael Badaway Live, your April 15th, 2020 edition. I hope you're doing well. I certainly am. Now, we're still toying with different potential times for the Michael Badaway Live experience. If you have an opinion, please feel free to mention it in the comments on the YouTube channel or on Facebook. If you would like to follow on YouTube and hit subscribe, you'd be doing me a great favor. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I have about 30 right now, so we're getting there slowly, right? Anyhow, today we're going to go over the main news, mostly centered around COVID-19, as well as some other little tidbits that we might have some fun with. I hope you're having a wonderful start to the day. As I mentioned, we're going to toy with a couple different times for Michael Badaway Live. Some people asking for it around lunchtime, others saying an evening show, and yet others asking for a morning show. But right now it's looking like there's more demand for the noon or evening show. So I'm just looking for anybody to weigh in on that. I'm your host, Michael Badaway. Let's get to it. So we've got some interesting news, of course, in COVID today. I'll give you some numbers just so you can wrap your head around them. Here in Canada, we're sitting at 27,000 cases of the virus. Of those, 903 people have passed away. It's unfortunate, but on a big scale of things, on the world scale, you're actually, I know I hate to say it, you're better off getting COVID-19 in Canada than just about anywhere else in the world. We have one of the lowest death rates, hovering right around 2%, 2.5%. Here in Ontario, 7,900 people have been diagnosed. To date, 334 deaths. Now we're midway through April. If this continues, and that's exactly, say, half, and then we're going to have about 660 deaths by the end of the month. I hope that's not the case, because they said the worst case scenario, Ontario will have 1,000 deaths by the end of this month, with the best case 200. So we're already past the 200 by a bit, well, a lot actually, at 334, but we're still a ways away from the 1,000. So if this doubles and the month is half over, we're looking at about 660 deaths. It's not really good. That's more leaning on the side of a not good scenario, not a very good potential trajectory, but again, not necessarily the worst case trajectory either. Important thing is to remain positive in this time. Keep your strength up, your nutrition, make sure you're getting adequate food in you, you're not skipping meals, and most importantly, don't be foolish. Do not be foolish. Now is not the time to become a party animal. This is not spring break, although it was spring break a couple of months ago, and unfortunately a lot of the youngsters came back and got ill from that. So take a lesson from them. Don't toy with your health. So actually, speaking of which, toying with your health, the government, well, I don't know if it's the government, but people are coming forward. They're saying they want to have some sort of watchdog in place whereby you can get in trouble for giving the wrong health information. They call it health misinformation. So they said in Canada there might be a law coming, when the virus is over. And in the UK, they want to introduce a law right now so that now get this, as I understand it, this law would be applicable to me if I were to tell you that taking garlic and onions and honey and ginger and other proven, known, natural antibiotics, antivirals, if I was to tell you to take them, and then if I was to tell you that they may give you some sort of protection against the virus, I could get in trouble for that. So suffice it to say, I'll say this. Those are very healthy things to eat that we just mentioned. I am not a doctor, but you can make your own judgment calls. I mean, whatever happened to common sense? Just use your common sense. I don't think I have to spell it out. Got some interesting, actually, points in history. On this day in 1452, Leonardo da Vinci was born. Yeah, he's credited for so many cool things, inventions, schematics. Of course, one of his most famous pieces that he ever created was the Mona Lisa. And there's been debate about the Mona Lisa for goodness knows, forever. Some people say that when Da Vinci painted her, it was an actual nude painting, and that decades later, even after his death, another painter was commissioned to add the garments to the Mona Lisa so that it would be, family friendly and could be displayed thereafter. Can you imagine if you are the painter, you are the artist who has been hired to ruin Da Vinci's work? And I don't mean, yeah, I do mean ruin, actually, because the original artist, has an intention, and it is whatever it is for a reason. And I don't think anybody really, has any right to touch anyone else's work, let alone somebody as notable as Leonardo da Vinci. Hey, come on, Mike, can you ruin this expensive, famous painting for me? Don't do it. I don't know. What are you going to do? That's like, let's rebuild the Sphinx with plastic. It'll look cool. It'll look great. Brand new. It's not meant to be like that. 1770, the eraser was discovered. Yes, not invented, discovered. Gentleman discovered that using a piece of rubber could remove pencil marks from a piece of paper, and, well, a whole new world was born. I think paper markets suffered that year. Rubber markets up. I want to say thank you to not only our frontline healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, people working at reception in healthcare facilities, paramedics, police and firefighters, but also, those who don't necessarily get thanked. Your local pharmacist, your local grocer, the person checking you out at the grocery store. This is a person who is literally risking their life, risking their well-being, maybe because, they didn't get this forced vacation that you got. Maybe because they got bored at home and took a job. Maybe they needed money. Whatever it may be, this person is brave. They're working when they don't have to be. They could actually, theoretically, collect the benefit and stay home. But they're going to work. They're helping out. They're doing their part. And without people like the grocer and the person delivering the groceries to the grocery store and the people behind the scenes causing those deliveries to keep going, there would be nothing on the shelves. There would be no food to eat. We're not in a society where, people are self-sufficient enough to just live on the land. So when our economy stops, when our society comes to a screeching halt, it's extremely dangerous, it's extremely problematic. That's when you have things like hyperinflation and whatnot. And so I just want to thank all those who have stood up and done their jobs, not only well, but with a certain amount of dignity and a certain amount of bravery that it takes in uncertain times, because most people are just in a state of panic. That being said, if you're panicking here in my local community, Haldeman, Norfolk, you can call a number, and if you don't like what your neighbors are doing, you can tell on them. I think that's a little much, but you know what? See, I'm speaking as a guy who, is trying to look at both sides of everything, but that's not necessarily fair, because I don't have a family. I don't have children. Perhaps if I was a father, I would be thinking very differently about this. So maybe that's exactly what we need. I'm just trying to give a balanced point of view. I'm more interested not in what I think, but in what you think. So if you have any comment or question on anything we've discussed today or in the past, or you have something you'd like to discuss on the show in the future, please feel free to write it in the comments. Again, if you could subscribe to my channel on YouTube, it would be greatly appreciated. Or, just send me a message, stereo.mike@live.com, and let's shoot topic ideas back and forth. Maybe we can talk about something you'd like to hear. Anyhow, thanks again for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Keep fit and have fun. Hold that breath.